And the next camera comparison for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. After just going one-on-one with a Xiaomi 15T Pro, it is now the Honor 400 Pro's chance to shine. If you love in-depth camera comparison, please subscribe and let's dive in now. While this comparison will mainly be shot in the vibrant style, I will start by showing you all three photo styles the Honor has to offer, beginning with natural. So the Honor has clearly the more vibrant look here, with the iPhone being closer to reality. The mainland shots stay consistent in look with the ultra-wide, while both brighten up the image significantly at 2x. Overall, the look is also closer here. The shot from the 400 Pro darkens with the telelens. Next up is a vibrant mode, which, as I said, is the default photo style on Honor phone. Unsurprisingly, this shot is also more vibrant again. The blue in the sky is actually very close, but when we look at the greenery and the autumn colored leaves, the Honor is definitely saturating the colors more. The colors get even more intense when going to the mainlands. Just as before, the 2x shots are brightening the image up and the color intensity gets dialed down on the Honor. While the telelenses brighten the shot further again, the zoom at 8x gives us closer looking colors again, with the Honor still being visibly more vibrant. Last but not least is the authentic shot, which is actually oversaturating the colors the most. I mean, the shot looks pretty and is definitely more suited to post directly on social media out of the camera, but it is just not how it really looked like. The colors are throughout way too saturated in this mode and make the more true to life iPhone look almost dull in comparison. And now for the side-by-side comparison of the Honor's photo styles. The pictures get progressively more vivid in the colors from left to right, with the authentic one saturating them the most. This also goes for the brightness. At 2x, the difference between the natural and vibrant style becomes marginal, while the authentic one still manages to stand out. The telelens shot with the vibrant style now boosts its vividness a bit, while the natural style has more muted colors and the authentic style keeps on oversaturating them. The 8x shots give us the brightest and least vivid shot, obviously from the natural style, oversaturated colors with authentic, and the vibrant style stays somewhat in the middle. And from now on here, we will stick to the vibrant style. We are at the sea, and probably the first thing that meets everyone's eye is the vastly different looking sky, being significantly more vivid on the Honor. The 400 Pro changes its look a lot when going to the mainlands, especially in the lower half of the image, and the iPhone does it too to a lesser extent. The 2x shots now stay more consistent with their look and the iPhone is overall more detailed. Next are the telelenses. 4x on the iPhone 17 Pro Max and 3x on the Honor 400 Pro. While the Honor had the brighter image, the iPhone is overall superior though. The 8x shot from the 17 Pro Max is also more detailed when we take a closer look. Max zoom is at 40x on the iPhone and 50x on the Honor, with neither one being really good. While the higher vibrancy of the Honor is obvious, this place is also a good way to show how much wider the ultrawide lens of the iPhone actually is. The main lens is still too oversaturated from the Honor, while both 2x shots are getting brighter and a bit closer to each other. The 400 Pro is slightly ahead in the details here this time around. With the telelenses, the same is true for the iPhone. At 8x, the 17 Pro Max has the more natural look, especially when we take a closer look, where the Honor looks too artificial. The sun is shining bright this November morning, and it is interesting to see how both capture it differently. The 400 Pro gives us a brighter shot with the main lens, brightening up even those places the sun doesn't touch, while they look closer to reality on the iPhone. The 2x shots both aren't great, but the 400 Pro struggles more here. The telelens of the 17 Pro Max captures more details, and the same at 8x, where we can easily read the smaller text here, while the 400 Pro has issues with it. Going to max zoom, it is fine from both when we just focus on the bigger text, but the smaller one can't be deciphered on the Honor while we can comfortably read it on the iPhone. Before we look at portraits, I want to let you know that I'm trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And if you like my videos, a sub to the channel would really mean a lot to me and help us reach this goal. Time for portraits. I will show you the 3 main styles the Honor has to offer, starting with Aqua Vibrant. And if you couldn't already guess it from the name, the 400 Pro is more vibrant here. No one saw that coming. The colors shift quite a bit when using the 2x, going in the direction of the iPhone shot. The 400 Pro is a bit sharper without overdoing it, and overall a bit more detailed when it comes to the edge detection, keeping some single hairs in focus. But it does blur part of my code down here, while the 17 Pro Max recognized it better. By far not a deal breaker, but now you know. Taking the shot now with the telelens favors the iPhone for having a less blurry and more detailed output. Edge detection is quite similar here on both now. The 400 Pro can actually zoom in further while using the portrait mode, and the 6x shot is really good. The quality doesn't have to hide behind the 17 Pro Max. The shot is overall a bit too bright, but the edge detection is superb, keeping the finest bits of hairs in focus. Next up is Aqua Color, which in general gives us warmer tones. The sky is actually pretty close here, with it just being a bit brighter on the 400 Pro, but not by much. When it comes to the colors in general, the iPhone is definitely more true to life. The quality isn't really that different between both. The previous observations remain true, obviously, with the Honor doing a finer job at separating me from the background. The telelens shot is getting no darker from the 400 Pro, too dark for my liking honestly. This gets a bit better when going to 6x, and in general we once again have the better shot from the Honor when it comes to the quality and details. Last but not least, we got Aqua Classic. This gives us pretty good black and white shots. I think these shots look good throughout, and even the one from the telelens, which kept lacking before, seems to be on par with the iPhone here. We get another look at how the Honor is more careful at separating me from the background. We will stick to the portrait mode, but will now use the front-facing cameras. Just for your information, we can't use the Aqua styles for selfies. First of all, the 400 Pro is still doing a better job with the edge detection, while the colors are unfortunately less realistic. The iPhone has a more consistent brightness level through these shots, while the Honor darkens and brightens the image randomly. Now for normal selfies. Both have two options when taking selfies: 0.8x on the Honor, and the iPhone has a similar wider option, which is actually even wider here. You might be tired of hearing this, but the colors are once more the main difference here, with the Honor being, yes, more vibrant. I know, shocking. The Honor, by the way, has a bit of background blur here too, while the 17 Pro Max keeps everything in focus. Now we move to the 1x on the Honor and the default level of the iPhone, with the 400 Pro giving us now the wider field of view. The way both focus on the background differently is still visible here. I on purpose took now a selfie with the sun behind me as a challenge for the phones, and the Honor actually did a really good job, while the iPhone struggles with the direct sunlight. What a beautiful sunny November morning, testing the iPhone 17 Pro Max and the Honor 400 Pro, both shooting in 4K with 30 frames per second. It is very sunny today here. Of course, I forgot my sunglasses at home. Colors look more vibrant on the iPhone, honestly. They don't look off either, so seem to be also more accurate. The preview on the Honor looks a little bit pale, but let's see how the final product looked in the end. We are on the 0.8x option on the Honor, and we can get in a little bit closer here, which is then also closer than the default of the iPhone, and going to 0.8x seems to be pretty much on par when it comes to the field of view. While shooting here, let's one time check out the noise reduction which we have on the Honor 400 Pro. So This is me now talking and walking without noise reduction activated, and now noise reduction is activated. There's a little bit sound coming from the sea, of course, and there's a zoo over that wall with some animals shouting out every now and then. So let's see how much the noise reduction actually affects the overall audio, and especially how much my voice gets put better in focus. So now I'm using the rear cameras, shooting in 4K 30 frames per second. I'm on the ultra wide lenses of both, and we can see that the ultra wide lens of the iPhone has a wider field of view, so quite significantly more. The colors are a little bit oversaturated in comparison on the iPhone, so something actually on our phones are famous for. But we're judging with a preview, the iPhone seems to be doing a little bit more. And let's one time check out the zooming on both phones. And the ultra wide on a 400 Pro, 1x, 3x. Those are the on-screen zooming options, and we have a digital zoom up to 10x. Ultra wide 3, 1, ultra wide 1, 3, ultra wide 1. Now let's do the same on the iPhone. We're on the ultra wide 1x, 2x, 4x, and 8x as far as the on-screen options go. And then we have 24x digital zoom. Let's go back to the ultra wide. And 2x, 8x, 2x, 1x, 4x, 1x, ultra wide. Here I actually had a side by side in mind, but somehow failed to hit the record button on the iPhone. But I thought the footage is really nice, so I will just show to you what the Honor 400 Pro recorded here. I just see this when you activate 60 frames per second and have 4K activated, then you can't use an ultra wide lens anymore if you started shooting with a main lens, but we can go to the telephoto lens, and we have 10x digital zoom here on the Honor. Go back to the main lenses. Zoom on this one here. And now again, we'll have noise reduction on, and we can then later check if the sound of the ship gets reduced and my voice is better in focus. The big one is still over here. So this is the maximum zoom which we get as an option to click on. Both phones is 3x and 8x. Of course, we can go to 10x here as well, digitally. Now we will take a look at low light shots. The iPhone undoubtedly has the edge here. Besides having an inferior image quality, the colors on the Honor are also off, having a greenish layer on them. While the 17 Pro Max gets brighter with a main lens, the Honor significantly changes its look and takes a good shot. At 2x, we get a better shot from the iPhone since the Honor is less detailed and sharpening the image too much. The telelens is another easy win for the iPhone. The shot looks really bad from the 400 Pro here. This won't get better at 8x, where the 17 Pro Max is still decent enough for us to be able to read the text. At max zoom, you could still decipher the text more or less on the iPhone, while the Honor gives us this. Neither ultrawide shot is great, and if we take a closer look, they even resemble oil paintings, but from far they are okay-ish. We get way better mainland shots, The 2x shot from the iPhone retains more details, but we get that ugly lens flare hanging around, something you might know the iPhone has a big issue with. The iPhone still lens is miles ahead of the Honor here, that's no contest, and this stays the same at 8x. The iPhone's ultrawide shot is quite noisy, while the Honor is kind of weird. It's brighter and less noisy and also captures more details like on that sign. But the colors are totally off, as you can see when we go to the main lens. Here both give us a good shot overall. The 400 Pro is a bit stronger on the processing, but handles the lit side again way better here and at 2x. The iPhone is noisier again, but looks more natural too, while the Honor is simply over sharpening here. The telelens of the Honor handles this now way better with less over sharpening and an overall good shot and a better exposure of the scene. Even at 8x it is superior in my eyes, all while keeping in mind that the colors remain more true to life on the iPhone though. At max zoom, both do a good enough job with the texture, while the iPhone is a bit noisier and the Honor overexposing it a bit. A big issue throughout these shots is the inconsistency from the Honor. This ultrawide shot is just another example, giving us an extremely dark shot next to the iPhone's well-rounded image. This is due to the strong light on the headboard, where the Honor fails to get the right balance in exposure. The mainland shot of the iPhone looks consistent and the Honor gives us a much brighter shot than before, but it still has issues with the lights on the headboard. This gets better at 2x, but the overall shot darkens yet again too much, while the iPhone still stays consistent. With the telelens, both now focus on exposing the headboard and both do it really well, even better so at 8x, but the iPhone looks just more authentic here. Next up are portraits, and once again we will take a look at the different portrait styles the Honor has to offer. The mainland shot goes easily to the 400 Pro. The iPhone is quite noisy and lacks details. At 2x it gets a bit closer since the Honor starts to look more artificial. The telelenses both can't really impress. The iPhone shot looks more natural but again quite noisy and blurry, while the Honor has a huge issue with the background blur. Using Honor 6x here now, and this is honestly also not a good shot, looking over processed and fake. A cool color brings both a bit closer in the looks to be honest, but the shot from the Honor is still more vivid and better looking in general, since the sky on the iPhone looks worse yet again. At 2x we get pretty much the same as before, with the Honor trying to make the face look better with AI, while the iPhone doesn't look great but less processed. At 3x the Honor is again giving us this weird background blur issue, while the iPhone's telelens remains a letdown for portraits here. And at 6x we again get this over-processed mess from the Honor. Using Aqua color at night can conceal some of the weaknesses we have seen here. While the 2x shot is still lacking clarity, it still looks good overall. And even the telelens shot is okay-ish, but unfortunately we can't hide the background blur issue here either. And the 6x shot can't be saved as well. Now for selfies. The 17 Pro Max has a brighter shot here, but I easily prefer the Honor for having the much more detailed shot. I'm now shooting in 4K 30 frames per second using the front-facing cameras. Looking at the colors, the iPhone seems to be more accurate since there's a yellowish hue on the building here. So it is definitely not as white as the Honor 400 Pro depicts it. The Honor is also brighter overall, but quality wise can't really say much in either one's favor, to be honest. Both look as good as the other one from the preview. Now with less light, the picture looks worse on the 400 Pro, while the iPhone is just dark, but since it is not trying to brighten up the scene that much. We would also have less noise. And now some footage in 4K with 30 frames per second using the rear cameras. I'm gonna look up here, see how the iPhone is handling the light quite awfully. Lens flare is also again an issue here, but the Honor does it too. We are on the main lenses. Let's go one time to the ultra wide. Ultra wide at night is always a case which you should avoid, but I'm just going to do either way, since those ultra wide lenses don't let in enough light to get a good shot, or a good enough shot. So let's go back to the main lenses and see how the picture quality and the brightness going up on both here. So just like with the front-facing cameras, the iPhone is closer to reality. Like on the building here, there is some yellowish tint coming from the lights here, while the Honor is brighter overall. When I look up at the blue sign here, both actually don't capture it properly. There's a very strong darker blue tone, and it looks almost completely white on the Honor, just with having a blue halo effect there around. The iPhone is also not much better. Is the 400 Pro a flagship killer? It does a good job in this comparison, to be honest, especially when you consider that you could get it on AliExpress below 500 euros already. Link in the description. There are areas where the Honor is at least on par, and that's especially portraits. It also keeps up well when it comes to zooming. The iPhone generally retains more details at the higher levels though. My biggest issue with the 400 Pro and Honor phones in general is the color accuracy. It's always too vibrant, no matter which mode we use. I hope that one day the natural photo style will give us indeed a really natural look. What's your take on this comparison? Please consider subscribing if you want to see a triple threat mid-range camera battle next. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.